So this is kind of funny. A number of the media people and some Democrats are now beginning to suggest, and it's coupled with a little bit of concern and worry, that the Harvey Weinstein stuff is being overplayed, that the media is spending too much time on it, that we're now into repetition, and there's nothing new to see here, and so it's nothing more than gratuitous to keep doing this. And the poor man, let him lay, or what have you. And I just want to remind everybody, 1 year ago this week, this is still October. You know, we're coming up on the anniversary of the election. I know it seems like the election was longer ago than 1 year, but we're not yet to the 1 year anniversary. I just want to remind, how many people remember 1 year ago this week, Barack Hussein Obama issued a permit to a group of people to run the Donald Trump Access Hollywood tape on a giant screen on the national lawn, 24/7. Do you remember that? You don't remember that. That's why I'm host and you are on the other side of the glass. Do you remember this, Mr. Snerdley? You do. Folks, this was huge. It was during the campaign. And remember, this was the October surprise, the Access Hollywood tape. This was it. This was going to be what doomed the Trumpster. And so Obama granted a permit for some group. I don't remember what the group was, but they were allowed to play on a giant screen on the National Mall, 24/7, a loop of the Trump Access Hollywood video. Of course, it was senseless because everybody in Washington already hated Trump. They weren't going to be persuading anybody. Here's from the New York Daily News on October 6th. Trump's Access Hollywood tape is playing on a loop on the National Mall in D.C. A large screen has been playing Trump's scandalous Access Hollywood tape on a loop in the National Mall on Washington on Friday after it was placed there by a women's advocacy group. And now we have people suggesting, hey, you know, we're overplaying the Harvey thing. Back off a bit. Mrs. Clinton can't help. You know, it's funny. She's been doing interviews all over the place, not looking good. Sorry to notice, but you can't miss it. I mean, it is what it is, right? And you know how she's answering this question? Well, my husband, that's in the past. We have a sexual predator in the White House right now. And that, I think, gives us a hint as to how the Democrats and the media and the left are now going to transition out of the Harvey story and have it become, they're going to try to make it the Trump story, have it segue from Harvey to Trump on the basis that, hey, if sexual predators are bad guys and if we got to send them to sex rehab in Arizona, then isn't Trump next? This is what they're going to try. It isn't going to work. They've got to be frustrated as all get out. Nothing they are trying, nothing they have tried is working. And if they keep reviving things that are variations of all of their tactics that exist in their playbook, they're going to continue to bomb out. This is Reggie in Charleston, South Carolina. Welcome, ma'am.
Hey,
great to have you here.
I'm going to make this a habit. I'll talk to you once every 30 years. How's that?
Go for it.
I did. I talked to you in 1988. Okay, so if we're not supposed to make light of the abuse to women, then can you please tell me what were all those pussy hats?
What did she say?
What were all those pussy hats?
I thought that's...
Mm-hmm.
I love my cat, too. I have to tell you. Yeah, see, that's... You know, if Al Michaels had been wearing one of those when he made the Harvey Weinstein comment, do you think he would have gotten less flack?
See, I just don't understand the hypocrisy. They can make light of it. They can make light of a woman's body part and turn it into a pink little crocheted, chapeau and wear it in a march. But if anybody else does it, then it's, we can't make fun of that. We can't talk about that.
You've actually stumbled into something. It's exactly right. They can make fun of themselves, or they can say about themselves whatever they want, but don't you.
Well, that was my point. I just didn't understand how I guess it's the hypocrisy, Rush. It's been hypocritical all along.
I know, but they're never held accountable to it, Reggie. They just don't. But time out. Let me ask you a question. You're calling, obviously, about the uproar over Al Michaels' comment that the New York Giants are having a worse week than Harvey Weinstein. I don't know if you heard that when it happened, but now that you know it, does that righteously offend you? Does that are you shuddering at fear over hearing the New York Giants compared to Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, do you consider it to be laughing at sexual harassment or laughing at Harvey Weinstein?
No, I thought it was laughing at Harvey Weinstein, which I thought we should be able to do. But
no, you see, that's it. You can't laugh at Weinstein. The left is telling us this. That's why there are no jokes on Saturday Night Live, and there are no jokes on Late Night because you can't laugh at Harvey Weinstein because what he did is not a laughing matter. But who he is a laughing matter, is the point. And it was perfectly fine to laugh and lambaste Bob Packwood. Perfectly fine to laugh and lambaste Clarence Thomas. Take your pick. Perfectly fine. But with Hillary Clinton, speaking of Hillary Clinton, audio soundbite number 4, and have your switcher standing by, Brian. Not yet. This was yesterday, United Kingdom, BBC, Andrew Marr show. He's interviewing Hillary Clinton during a discussion about the sexual harassment allegations of movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. Andrew Marr said, now this depends on women coming forward, and yet in your book, Mrs. Clinton, during the campaign, the 3 women brought onto the stage by Trump attacking your husband, and you kind of dismissed them. So here you are, you're suggesting here that women need to come forward. And some women, Trump brought 3 women forward who had been attacked by your husband, and you said that doesn't matter. Was that the right thing to do?
Well, yes, because that had all been litigated. I mean, that was the subject of a huge, investigation, as you might recall, in the late 90s. And there were conclusions drawn, and that was clearly in the past.
Do you think Donald Trump and Harvey Weinstein are deep down the same kind of person?
Oh, I'm not a psychologist. I can't draw that conclusion. I think that there are reports, credible reports from women about both that sound quite similar.
Aha. You see what's happening here, folks. Now, this is a great question this guy asked her. I don't know if he even understands how great it was. But essentially, hey, Hillary, your book says that these women need to come forward. So Donald Trump found 3 women your husband had abused. And what's her answer? Well, yeah, that's all been litigated. I mean, that was way in the past. There was an investigation. Remember that? Late 90s. And there were conclusions drawn. And that was clearly in the past. This woman is a walking cliche. She does not have an original thought. She cannot innovate. Everything she says comes from patterned quotations that are in the Democrat playbook. I guarantee you. And so Marr says, well, do you think Trump and Weinstein are deep down the same person? Oh, I'm not a psychologist, but hell yes, is what she meant to say. And then the guy, Andrew Marr, said, well, what is your reaction to Harvey Weinstein?
It's important that we not just focus on him and whatever consequences flow from these stories about his behavior, but that we recognize this kind of behavior cannot be tolerated anywhere, whether it's in entertainment, politics. After all, we have someone admitting to being a sexual assaulter in the Oval Office.
Can you imagine saying this after what your own husband did and what you did to the women who came forward to accuse your husband? She is the CEO of Bimbo Eruptions. There's nobody better in America at destroying women claiming sexual harassment by a man. Hillary Clinton led the project to destroy the women Bill Clinton had abused and had affairs with. And now she says, after all, we have someone admitting to be a sexual assaulter in the office. For those of you watching on the Ditto Cam, I want to show you something. Switch it over there, Brian. This is an internet joke running around, one of these craftily produced things, and I thought I would share it with you. It's a picture of Harvey Weinstein at a dinner table, at a banquet, so maybe an award show. Seated on his left is Hillary Clinton, and on his right is Huma Abedin, whose husband is also one of those, Carlos Danger. He sent photos of his nude self to teenage girls on Twitter. And the caption to this photo, and by the way, Harvey and Hillary and Huma are just yucking it up and having the grandest time. And I'm not able to see the whole thing. What's the top line say? Okay, here's what it says. A sexual predator surrounded by two women who supposedly fight for women's rights. You got Hillary and Huma. And then under the picture, women's rights that are both married to sexual predators. You can't fix stupid. So we're showing this now on the Ditto Cam so people can visualize that, which I'm talking. You want to talk about hypocrisy? Here's Hillary and Huma yucking it up with Harvey, knowing full well who he was and who he is, and they supposedly fight for women's rights, and they're both married to sexual predators. Now, on who is this joke, really? This one picture and the captions say it all. Have to take a brief time out, folks. Hang on. I got I have a couple things about this whole NFL thing here that I had hoped to get to today, but once again, live events have gotten in the way. I need to get back to the phones, too, so let's do that. This is Al in Columbus. Great to have you. Welcome.
Hey, Rush. Great to talk to you again.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I'll make this quick. I both want to mention my brother John, who's listening, and myself are both high school coaches, and we have to go through a pretty good background check process to be able to work with the kids. So my question is, I heard, one of Obama's kids was working for Harvey Weinstein out there, and you would think with someone, with Obama's resources with the FBI, and I'm sure the Secret Service is still involved with keeping her safe and keeping an eye on her welfare, how come none of this has come out before then?
How come what hasn't come out?
Well, you would think there would have been some sort of a look into his business or his past, and I wouldn't let my child go to work.
Okay, basically, what you're asking is, you don't think it's likely that Obama didn't know what kind of guy Harvey Weinstein is.
That would be the...
And yet still sent his daughter there to intern, right?
Absolutely.
So you're saying with the security apparatus that Obama has, the intel people, he can find out whoever he wants on whatever he wants or whatever he wants on whoever, that he had to know what kind of guy Weinstein is still sent his daughter there. Is that your question?
That's my question.
And so you want to know why he did it or why nobody's commenting on it?
Well, I want to know why no one's commenting on this. I would think
because it's Obama, and he never does anything wrong. You can laugh, but that's the answer. Obama is protected. If he sent his daughter to work for Harvey, then there was a deal. Harvey, no hands. If he sent his daughter working for Harvey, the media will assume that she was never in danger because Obama knows and does everything right. And you can't question it. And that's why they're not reporting it.
Wow.
But what you're saying is, wait, something here's not right. He had to know what kind of guy Weinstein is and yet still sent his daughter to work over there. Now, maybe it is understood that she wouldn't be actually near Harvey, that she would just be in the office doing intern stuff. Except, wait, those are the victims, in large part. Interns. Those are the ones with the least power anywhere in the employee ranks. I mean, look, it is a good question. It's kind of like asking, why did Hillary hang in, and why did she summarily destroy all the women who came forward with allegations about her husband? Now, that one is answered. Well, she had to save his presidency and save the party so as to preserve her chance to run. But in Obama's case, look, this is the thing, folks, because Al here is exactly right. Everybody knew. What are you frowning? You don't think Obama knew? Just stop and think. Everybody knew. This we know. I mean, this is not arguable. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Well, I don't know if he actually would have said hands off this one, but clearly there had to be some understanding. Look, I mean, everybody knew. Hillary knew. By the way, Hillary's had another accident. She was carrying a cup of coffee up some steps and fell or something, broke her toe. I don't know any more than that. It's not good. I mean, she's not hospitalized or anything, but this is. She needs, to pull the covers up and stay out of sight for a while. But about sending your daughter to work for Harvey. I think the point here is these people all knew, and yet they're out there. From Obama and Michelle Obama on down, everybody's out there accusing people of rape. Rolling Stone magazine accusing people of rape falsely on college campus. Lena Dunham making up the fact she was raped at Oberlin College. I mean, these people on the left are on this crusade to stamp out rape where it isn't even happening. And in their own world, there is a predator running loose that everybody knows everything about, and nobody does a thing to stop it until it's safe to throw Harvey away. Until Harvey isn't needed anymore, or until Harvey becomes a liability. But as long as Harvey still had power in Hollywood, and believe me, these Democrats are all groupies. I don't care. Obama, Schmama, everybody is groupies in the Democrat Party when it comes to Hollywood. You know what they say, politics is showbiz for the ugly. And the Democrats prove it. And they all want to be in showbiz, and they all want to have their degree of fame, and that's why all these Democrat presidents and candidates always go out to Hollywood, fundraise, and raise money. Look at the hypocrisy, though. I am convinced, I don't know what percentage, but it is a huge percentage of all of these so-called leftist actors, I'm talking about the men, who are so publicly pro-choice and pro-female and pro-everything, and it's just, pardon my French, it's just to get laid. I'm convinced that it's not real. It's just how you get girls in Hollywood. It's just what you have to be. It's no more complicated than boys will do whatever they think women want in order to get close to them. And if you have to be pro-choice, and if you have to be pro-this, and if you have to be anti-conservative, and blah, 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 you'll do it. And you want to stand out doing it, so you're really loud about it, and you really give a lot of money, and you go to all the fundraisers, and you let everybody know that you love women, and you hate conservatives, and you hate rape, and you hate abuse, and all that. Meanwhile, it's going on right in your community, in your town, in your neighborhood, maybe in your house. It's the biggest bunch of hypocrisy yet. And I don't know how, I'm telling you, a lot of it is got to be phony. Just for the PR of it. Just because that's what you have to do to work there. It's what you have to do to get close to women there. And that's universal since Adam and Eve, folks. You've heard the old saw, a boy chases a girl until she catches him. And that hasn't changed since the beginning of time. Except Harvey. There's always exceptions to these things, but in a civilized society, there aren't any Harvey Weinsteins. And in those circumstances, women have more power than they could possibly even know or imagine in civilized society. This was never made any sense to me about feminazis. Well, I take that back too, because the feminazis make total sense to me. They're mad at human nature because of how unkind it has been to them. Undeniable truth of life, number 24, never was anything more accurate than that one. And by the way, folks, and not because of any outrage that might happen, I actually don't think there will be any, but I want to sincerely apologize for the vernacular I use to describe a guy chasing a girl in Hollywood and what the objective is. I'm just hustling here, trying to say so much with so little time here. And rather than dress it up, I came out with a phrase that everybody uses talking about people having sex. Well, because there might have been people with their kids listening. Mommy, what? People have an expectation that this program is going to be sophisticated and above the common denominator. Guttural communication happens here. And I did that just for the expediency of time, rather than take the time to dress it up, because I haven't gotten to 80% today of what I prepped because of breaking news that happens during the program. I've had as many emails during the program as I normally get before the program, and I've had to deal with each one of them. I'm not complaining. I could do 3 additional hours today.